Imagine waking up tomorrow to discover that thousands of dollars in Social Security benefits that were rightfully yours have been sitting there, waiting for you to claim them. What if I told you that 8 million Americans are in exactly this situation right now, and you might be one of them? This isn't some too good to be true scheme or a distant promise from politicians. This is happening right now, and millions of people are already receiving their back pay checks with an average amount of over $6,000 per person. If you want to stay updated on crucial financial news that could directly impact your wallet and your future, make sure to subscribe to our channel and hit that notification bell because we're about to break down everything you need to know about this massive Social Security windfall. The story begins with two complex Social Security rules that have been quietly stealing money from hardworking Americans for decades. These rules, known as the Windfall Elimination Provision and the Government Pension Offset, have been reducing or completely eliminating Social Security benefits for over 8 million people who worked in jobs that didn't pay into Social Security, like teachers, firefighters, police officers, and other public servants. But here's the thing that makes this situation so frustrating: these people weren't trying to game the system or double dip into government benefits. They were simply working jobs that had their own pension systems, often serving their communities in essential roles that we all depend on. Think about it for a moment. A teacher who dedicated 30 years to educating children, or a firefighter who risked their life to protect others, would see their Social Security benefit slashed simply because they also earned a pension from their public service job. Does that seem fair to you? These workers often took lower-paying public service jobs with the understanding that their pension would help supplement their retirement, only to discover that this decision would cost them thousands of dollars in Social Security benefits they had earned through other employment or their spouse's work history. The Windfall Elimination Provision was originally designed to prevent people from receiving what lawmakers considered unfairly high Social Security benefits. The logic was that if someone worked in a job that didn't pay Social Security taxes, the standard benefit formula might overestimate their lifetime earnings and give them a higher benefit than intended. However, critics have long argued that this provision went too far, often penalizing people who had legitimate mixed careers or who worked in public service for only part of their careers. Meanwhile, the government pension offset reduced spousal and survivor Social Security benefits for people who received government pensions, sometimes wiping out these benefits entirely. But here's where the story takes a dramatic turn for the better. After years of advocacy and legislative battles, Congress finally passed the Social Security Fairness Act, which completely eliminates both of these controversial provisions. President Trump signed this landmark legislation, and the Social Security Administration has been working around the clock to implement these changes and get money into the hands of people who have been waiting for justice for far too long. So what does this mean in real numbers that you can actually understand? Through March 4, 2025, the Social Security Administration has already paid 1,127,723 people more than $7.5 billion in retroactive payments, with the average retroactive payment being $6,710. Let that sink in for a moment. We're talking about over $7.5 billion that has already been distributed to more than 1 million Americans, and this is just the beginning of the process. But here's what's really exciting: this is only a fraction of the people who are eligible. The Social Security Administration estimates that over 8 million people had their benefits reduced or eliminated by these provisions. This means that potentially millions more Americans are still waiting to receive their back pay, and the total amount of money being returned could reach astronomical figures when all is said and done. Now, you're probably wondering whether you or someone you love might be on this list. The people most likely to be affected are those who worked in government jobs, public education, or other positions that had their own pension systems separate from Social Security. This includes teachers, police officers, firefighters, government employees at all levels, and many others who dedicated their careers to public service. But it's not just current retirees who are affected. If you're currently working in one of these fields, or if you have a spouse who receives a government pension, you could see significant increases in your future Social Security benefits as well. The process of receiving these payments isn't automatic for everyone, which is why it's crucial that you take action if you think you might be eligible. The Social Security Administration expects all beneficiary records to be updated by November 2025, and those who are eligible but haven't received their payment yet can check www.sa.gov's My Account or call 1-800-772-1213 to make sure the SSA has the right address and direct deposit information on file. Here's something that might surprise you about how significant these payments can be. Some people are receiving monthly benefit increases of several $100s, which means their annual back pay could be in the thousands of dollars range. If someone was entitled to an additional $300 per month and had been receiving reduced benefits for an entire year, they could be looking at $3,600 in back pay just for that year alone. For people who have been affected by these provisions for multiple years, the back pay amounts can be truly life-changing. But this story isn't just about money. Although the financial impact is certainly significant, it's about justice and fairness for people who have served their communities and played by the rules their entire careers. For too long, these hardworking Americans have been caught in a bureaucratic trap that penalized them for their service. Teachers who shaped young minds, police officers who kept communities safe, and firefighters who ran toward danger when others ran away have been receiving smaller Social Security checks simply because they chose careers in public service. The elimination of these provisions also has important implications for surviving spouses, many of whom are women who may have had limited careers due to caring for families. Under the old rules, a widow whose deceased husband had worked in a government job might see her survivor benefits reduced or eliminated entirely. This often left women in particularly vulnerable financial situations during some of the most difficult times of their lives. The Social Security Fairness Act changes this, ensuring that surviving spouses receive the full benefits they're entitled to based on their deceased partner's work history. If you're someone who has been affected by these provisions, or if you know someone who might be, the time to act is now. Don't assume that the Social Security Administration will automatically find you and send you a check. While they're working diligently to update records and process payments, the system is complex, and there may be cases where additional information or verification is needed. By being proactive and checking your status, you can help ensure that you receive every dollar you're entitled to as quickly as possible. The broader implications of this change extend beyond just the individual recipients. When millions of Americans suddenly have more money in their pockets, it has ripple effects throughout the economy. These aren't wealthy individuals who will simply add the money to their investment portfolios. These are often middle-class retirees and working families who will spend this money on necessities, home improvements, healthcare, and other goods and services that support local businesses and communities. As we wrap up this incredible story of financial justice finally being served, remember that this is exactly the kind of information that can make a real difference in your life and the lives of people you care about. The Social Security system is complex, and changes like this don't happen very often, but when they do, they can have profound impacts on millions of Americans. Whether you're currently receiving Social Security benefits, planning for retirement, or simply want to stay informed about policies that affect working families, understanding these changes is crucial for your financial future. This massive return of Social Security benefits represents one of the largest corrections to government policy affecting retirees in recent memory, and it's happening right now. Don't let this opportunity pass you by if you're one of the 2.8 million Americans who deserves to have their full Social Security benefits restored.